What is the best-selling color crankbait? Wow! That's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls. Beautiful morning, February 25. We're looking at the 23rd Psalm. That's right, 23:4. Even if I walk through a very dark valley, I will not be afraid because you are with me. 23rd Psalm. Let's see if I don't know if I can remember that the way I learned it as a kid in church. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. I got a big thumbs up from my wife. She probably learned that when she was a little girl also in Sunday school. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. If I did that right twice in a row, it's really a miracle. See what I wrote about that. My dad and my two uncles, Gene and John, would fish the Ouachita River. And this says in Arkansas, for those of you that have this book, and I know thousands of you do. That should be the Ouachita River in Oklahoma, which is actually right close to our ranch. It runs it's just right over that mountain. It's right over that mountain, about a half a mile. It's not on our ranch, but it's close by it. And I don't know, somehow the editors missed this when they did that. I put Oklahoma. They probably researched that and changed it to Arkansas. And there is a very beautiful Ouachita River in Arkansas, which forms Lake Ouachita, and we fished on that lake quite a bit. But we fished the Ouachita River in Oklahoma for catfish in July and August. The hot summer months were the best because the river was very low and almost dry. The channel cat would concentrate in deeper holes. So we would end up maybe from where we parked our car by the river, we would end up maybe 3 or 4 or 5 miles, seemed like 100 miles to a little kid. We'd end up miles down that river, and we would come back. With our catfish in tow sacks. You know, that's a tow sack is what they used to carry potatoes in, and it was a burlap bag, people call it now. We'd walk for miles up and down that river, searching out these deep holes. And another thing that happened, I'll tell you a real quick story. Another thing that would happen is I usually had to carry the bags with the catfish in them, and I was a little 12-year-old scrawny kid, and I would carry those, and those catfish would stick their fins that they're on the side would stick out of that bag, and they would hit me in the leg, and they'd fin you, and they got poison in those. Not poison that'll kill you, but poison that causes a lot of pain. And so my dad gave me a pair of pliers, and he said, we catch those catfish, just break those 2 fins off on both sides. That way they can't stick through the side of that tow sack or burlap bag. But I lost the pliers. I lost the pliers. I lost them somewhere on the river, and the catfish were still doing that. I didn't want to tell my dad that I lost the pliers, so I got in. I'd take those catfish, and I'd stick the fins in my mouth and bite them off, just break the end of them off on both sides, and then put them in the tow sack. And that worked just fine. And so after a while, I got to just doing that to all the catfish that I caught, that if I carried in a tow sack. And of course, later on, we didn't do that, but we didn't carry them in tow sacks. But it was great. Being really impatient as a little kid, I'd always be down the river ahead of the rest of them. What panic I would feel when I'd realize that I was all alone. All alone. I'd left my dad and my Uncle Gene and my Uncle John behind. What a great relief when I would finally see them coming. And here's the one sentence or 2 sentences that I wrote about that we need to remember. Jesus has promised us that we need never, ever be afraid. I will fear no evil. When everyone has deserted us, Jesus is always there. And you know, even as a 12, 13, 11, 10-year-old boy, whatever, when I was alone on that river and would panic because my dad and my uncles wasn't there with me, I didn't fall in the river and drown. I didn't get bit by a rattlesnake. Didn't even know at the time that this area right here had so many rattlesnakes. I might not have been down there by myself. Didn't get bit by a copperhead or a cottonmouth in those brush piles that we were fishing because Jesus was with me. I got saved at 12 years old. And before you're saved, if you're a little kid watching this, and we have a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers that are on our Catch of the Day channel. If you're a little kid watching this, even before you're saved, God's watching out for you. God's taking care of you. And He was taking care of me on that river. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the Catch of the Day channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell. We do a video every single morning, put it up at 5 o'clock. Jesus' promise that we never need be afraid. When everyone has deserted us, Jesus is always there. Wow. No matter what you're going through right now, no matter how alone you may feel, and we all get times in our lives when we feel like that the whole world's against us, we just got us. We always have Jesus. When you get down to that point, we always have Jesus. Here's our tip for today. Best-selling color crankbait. I wrote this book in 2005. Still true today. Fire Tiger. Fire Tiger is the best-selling crankbait color in the country. And I'm not sure that's my favorite. I'd say my favorite is a red ear sunfish color crankbait. But crawfish color. And a Fire Tiger is the number one selling color crankbait ever. Kind of like the number one selling color worm for years was purple. Now green pumpkin. You're right. Guys and girls, have you a great one out there today. It is getting down to the time of the world where we need to be fishing every day. So if I don't answer comments, Jimmy's fishing. Hey, I love you.